DSU.
And we start with the breaking news we continue to follow. A prisoner from the Orleans Parish Justice Center accidentally released.
That's right. Khalil Bryan was let out on what the sheriff's office is calling a clerical error.
It's been 3 months since 10 inmates escaped from the Orleans Parish Jail. Now the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office is dealing with another controversy.
Yeah, tonight an inmate who was mistakenly let out of the same place still has not been caught.
I want to make a sincere apology to the people of New Orleans. The mistaken release of Khalil Bryant was a serious error, and as sheriff, I take full responsibility.
Enforcement search for inmate 30-year-old Khalil Bryant. This comes after the Orleans Parish Sheriff's Assistant Jail mistakenly released him on Friday.
Say, bro, look, early Friday morning in the cutthroat streets of New Orleans, while everybody else still rubbing crust out their eyes, jail over at Orleans Parish done messed around and cut loose another inmate. That inmate's name, Khalil Bryant, age 30. But guess what? Somebody behind them jailhouse desks got their last name twisted up, and just like that, Khalil was gone. Now the whole thing kicked off around 1 in the morning. That's when the paperwork fumble went down, but nobody said nothing to the people for damn near 15 hours. Not one peep, not a press release, not even a my bad from the sheriff's office.
WWL Louisiana has now learned from multiple sources that the sequence of events that led to the mistaken release actually started shortly after 1 a.m. While Bryan reportedly was released a short time later, it is still unclear what time deputies realized their mistake and what time the sheriff herself was notified.
Everybody moving like it's casual. Meanwhile, Khalil probably had a fresh lineup and taper feed by the time they noticed. By 4:15 that afternoon, Sheriff Susan I Got One Job Hudson finally strode up to the mic looking like she just woke up from a nap on taxpayer time. She hit the crowd with that fake humility, like, I want to sincerely apologize to the people of New Orleans. And if that ain't the most overused sentence in Louisiana politics, I don't know what is.
I want to make a sincere apology to the people of New Orleans. The mistaken release of Khalil Bryant was a serious error, and as sheriff, I take full responsibility.
He blamed it on human error. Nah, sis, that's paperwork playing musical chairs with inmates, and you sitting in the big chair talking about oops. Ain't nobody trying to hear that shit. So boom, once the smoke cleared and the cameras came on, Susan stood up there talking like she just delivered breaking news, when really, she the one who broke the damn system. She claimed some clerical hiccup got Khalil mixed up with another dude who had a similar last name. Now pause, how y'all running the whole jail and can't tell two men apart? Was it just the last name, or y'all ain't even look at a mugshot, a fingerprint, a bracelet, something? Bruh, even Raising Cane's double check your order before they hand you that bag.
The error stemmed from a clerical misidentification, where he was confused with another individual sharing a similar last name. While our systems are designed to catch these discrepancies, human error led to a breakdown in the verification process. Chief Kirkpatrick, we thank all the chiefs. We thank the New Orleans Police Department, Louisiana State Police, all of our partners on the task force for their assistance in getting him back into custody. And we do look forward to having that happen soon.
Then Susan tried to run with the boogeyman narrative, and Khalil had a bail over $100K and throwing every charge on him like she was building up a rap sheet buffet. She pulled out words like aggravated assault, felon with a firearm, domestic abuse, home invasion. Man, chill out. That man was already in custody. Ain't nobody saying he innocent, but don't go using the media to inflate that man's danger level just to save your own rep. That's what weak leaders do when they can't own up. Just keep it all the way trill. Lil also had some lesser stuff pinned to his name. Weed, drug paraphernalia, some stolen property, and a warrant out of Jefferson Parish. Yeah, that boy had charges, but he wasn't Jason from Friday the 13th, like Susan tried to make it seem. The more she talked, the more it looked like she was trying to flip a paperwork fumble to a full-blown hostage crisis to make herself look like she fighting crime. And when reporters tried pressing her for a straight timeline, she ducked the whole combo like somebody threw a brick. We not gonna put that information out until we confirm that. That's what this bitch said.
Sheriff Susan Hudson Friday afternoon, admitting that human error led to the release of this man, 30-year-old Khalil Bryan, even though he was supposed to be held on a bail of more than $100,000 on allegations of violent crimes, as well as pending drug charges and a warrant out of Jefferson Parish. While Bryan reportedly was released a short time later, this was Hudson's answer when we asked her about that timeline Friday afternoon.
We're not going to put out any information right now until we confirm all that.
The public doesn't know for almost 15 hours, and the person is out there on the loose.
Girl, what? That ain't how this transparency thing works. That's like crashing your car and telling the cops, I'll let you know how it happened once I get my story together. Well, boom. The craziest part, dude who actually supposed to be released, still sitting behind bars long after Khalil was ghost. That man didn't touch the sunlight till way later Friday. They couldn't find his name on the list after already messing up once. You think after accidentally letting the wrong one out, they double time the right one. But now they move like DMV workers on a Friday afternoon. Slow, sloppy, and no damn urgency.
Bryan is twice the size than the inmate that was supposed to be released.
Pull up the booking photo. Just pull up the mugshot and look at the person who you're supposed to be releasing and look at the person who you're about to walk out the door and say, this isn't the same guy.
The fact that the person who should have been released earlier still took hours to get released just makes it that much worse.
Even Clancy Dubose, yeah, that political analyst dude, came out the woodwork talking spicy. He said straight up, this one fumble just added more flames to Susan's political bonfire, especially since she already looking bad from that escape back in May when 10 inmates played Catch Me If You Can on her watch. That was the original mess. Now this Khalil slip up just confirmed what people already whispering.
WWL political analyst Clancy Dubose said that whatever the sheriff's internal investigation eventually shows, it will not help the sheriff in her tough re-election campaign, especially after the delayed notification following 10 inmates' escape in May, giving them a head start on authorities. We will continue to press the sheriff on all of these questions. Mike Pearlstein, WWL, Louisiana.
Lucy couldn't guard the sandbox at recess. That ain't even the half. Let's talk about the judges at criminal court. 2 weeks before this Khalil situation, them judges were fed up with Susan ducking her duty so hard, they hit her with a contempt of court charge. Why? Cause she wasn't sending no deputies to cover weekend court hearings. Real basic stuff. Show up, secure the courtroom, transport the inmates. Susan was acting like weekends didn't exist, like the courthouse needed to follow her sleep schedule or something.
Judges say Hudson did not follow orders to provide deputies to resume weekend magistrate court hearings. The issue does stem from the COVID-19 pandemic when those court hearings were virtual throughout the week. They did return to in-person during the week, but the sheriff's office says that they don't have the staff to supply weekend duty.
Judges said enough for the games and found her in contempt. Now she facing $500 fines for every single time she didn't comply.
We have some breaking news. A panel of judges just found Orleans Parish Sheriff Susan Hudson in contempt of court.
All this after a contentious court hearing today. WDSU reporter Elizabeth Kubel live right now. She was in the courtroom all day. Elizabeth, what can you tell us about what happened?
Yeah, well, that was definitely a heated hearing, Gina. And as you all mentioned, that decision just coming down at the top of the hour. So really only moments ago, that panel of judges finding that the sheriff is now being held in contempt of court. So I just kind of want to walk you through exactly how we got here in the first place. Remember that this all started after the chief judge says she ordered the sheriff's office to start taking inmates to magistrate court on the weekends and on holidays. She wanted it starting last weekend and says that did not happen. However, the sheriff's office argument back was that they just didn't have the staffing to be able to do that. Hudson says what that would mean is that they would need an additional 12 deputies to meet the demands, which would increase their budget by more than $357,000. But again, that ruling just coming down at the top of the hour. What this means now moving forward is that the sheriff will now be back in court for an August 4th sentencing date. Reporting live at criminal court, I'm Elizabeth Kubel, WDSU News.
Instead of saying, my bad, let me fix this, officers waited until the heat got turned all the way up, then hit panic mode, emergency measures to throw together enough deputies for July 20th.
And holidays.
She is now complying with the judge's order after the judge held her in contempt of court for not doing that.
In a statement, the sheriff's office says it's an extreme measure that includes reassessing deployments of deputies, asking deputies to volunteer for overtime outside of the 50 hours a week they currently work, and demanding that employees currently working 50-hour weeks to cover an additional shift for weekend court. Sheriff Hudson is scheduled to be sentenced on the contempt charge in August.
Now they trying to act like it's all good because they showed up 2 weeks in a row. Girl, you don't get a trophy for finally doing the bare minimum. Now while Susan was up there fumbling this release like a rookie cornerback, that's who finally slid into that chat. District Attorney Jason Williams. Yep, same Jason that was Susan's biggest cheerleader when she was running for sheriff. That boy was hollering loud back then. New leadership, progressive reform. Full time, Susan was just the wrong one to put on the team. That man really put his political reputation in her hands, like she was gonna drop it like a hot pot of gumbo. Now that jail damn near running itself into the ground. Jason standing on the sideline like he never met her. He released a statement calling the Khalil situation deeply troubling. And stop it. That's the political version of damn that's crazy. I'm about to tell Jason he can't Frankenstein a shaft, then act surprised when the monster knock over the city.
Calls the release preventable, and he warns of another big problem that needs to be fixed.
Now the jail's accidental release of inmate Khalil Bryan has the facility back in the spotlight.
How could this happen, especially after what happened 2 months ago? It was shock.
That was the initial reaction from Matt Durbus. He is the homicide unit chief at the DA's office. He says he learned about the mistaken release close to 3 p.m. on Friday when a judge notified him.
But wait, it get better. Jason say whether Khalil get hit with more charges for being let go early ain't even up to him yet. So not only did Susan mess up the release, it's still undecided on if Khalil even gonna be penalized for their own mistake. Whole system out here throwing darts blindfolded. And Jason, he backing Michelle Woodfolk now, former NOPD captain, trying to put a new face in the race. Like we forgot he helped unleash Susan on the city like a bad mixtape. That boy switched sides faster than the second line parade when it hit the next block. Soon as the news broke that Khalil Bryan got let out by mistake, Susan didn't just own it and keep it moving. Nah, she jumped straight into save my career mode, trying to make Khalil look like he was the most dangerous man in Orleans Parish, just so the spotlight ain't stay on her fumble. She started running down the charges on camera like she was reading from a most wanted script. Aggravated this, firearm that, home invasion, domestic, even tossed in old charges like weed and some stolen items, just to stack it up. Real dramatic. Don't forget the Jefferson Parish warrant. She made sure to throw that in at the end like it was a bonus level on a video game. Let's be real. Khalil wasn't no choir boy, but he also wasn't no citywide terror either. He wasn't running no criminal empire. Wasn't out here leading the gang, and he damn sure ain't bust out of jail with a shank in his back pocket. He handed him freedom on a silver platter and then turned around and called him a menace like he orchestrated the whole thing. Susan knew the headlines was coming for her neck, so she hit the gas on the fear tactic, trying to scare the public like Khalil was a one-man purge. Full time, she the one with the badge, the budget, and the keys to the jail. If he was that dangerous, why ain't your people double-check the damn file before opening the door? This wasn't about public safety, it was about public perception. She tried to make Khalil the story, because if we focused on him, we wouldn't be asking what the hell she was doing. Her office turned into a halfway house with no supervision